take it slow. Just wanna let you know. Ready to spend some time. I wanna spend some time.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amaka and this is Ami Lifestyle. If you're new here, please subscribe to this channel. From the title of the video, you can actually understand what I want to talk about. And you know, I just want to start by saying how grateful I am, you know, to have this opportunity to live in Canada. I am really grateful to God that I'm able to do this. I'm able to live here. I'm able to say, oh, I want to relocate. I want to leave my country. I want to come into a new country. And I'm like totally able to do this. So I'm going to tell you guys about, you know, my experience so far being a new immigrant in Canada and spending 1 year in Canada. So if you spend 1 year, are you still a new immigrant or you're not an old immigrant? Because I don't know whether to keep calling myself a new immigrant or something. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. However, I'm still new. I'm still fresh. Like a 1-year-old baby is still new. So I'm still a new immigrant. So I'm going to talk about, you know, my first year in Canada. It's been so exciting in summary. Honestly, it's been like so different, completely different from what I know, completely different from where I'm coming from. It's just, you know, Canada and Nigeria are just like two worlds apart. Like I am not in any way living the life I used to live in Nigeria. Like in no way, shape or form am I living the life I used to live in Nigeria. So I'm going to start by, you know, talking about my first impressions of Canada. When I landed, I currently live in Calgary, Alberta. So when I first landed in Calgary, my first impressions that day, really, I would say I was super excited. However, not me actually, my husband felt like a little bit meh because he was like, this is abroad. Like he's not seeing that abroad vibe and everything. And the truth is, when you're coming from the airport, I don't know where we passed though. I don't know if we passed the local or we came through the local side. I don't know. But I don't know what we were expecting. My husband especially. I don't know if he wanted to see like the roads paved with gold or something. But for him, it was bad. But for me, I was really, really excited. Like I'm here now. I was super excited when I first landed. I was like, gosh, am I really here? Have we really like done this? You know, getting to our apartment, it was nice, cozy, just a little bit dark. However, it was really, really cool. And, you know, we spent the first couple of days trying to situate ourselves. You know, I have videos on that. I can link up below, up above for you to watch if you haven't watched that already. So second thing I'm going to talk about is the weather. I think the weather is pretty good here in Calgary. Compared to what I've been hearing or I heard before landing, so much of horror stories about the winter. Oh, it's still going to be really cold in summer. It's still going to be really cold in this and that. However, when we first came out of the airport, it was 14 degrees that day, but it felt really cold to us because we're not used to it. But we've survived our first winter. It was cool. It was nice. Probably because we don't have to go out every day. My husband works remotely. I'm currently in between jobs, so we didn't have to like go out, you know. So it was really like okay, you know. The times that we had to go out wasn't that bad. I would say the government of like the city of Calgary tries their best to clear the roads, major roads, after every snowfall or snowstorm. They clear out the roads. So you're not really like driving on snow on major roads. However, when you go into neighborhoods and you go into communities, you would have to drive on snow. And when we first bought our car, I didn't share this. However, we had an accident with our car. I think the first week that we bought the car, the pedestrian was, you know, got into the road. So my husband stopped the car. However, the truck behind didn't, you know, start using his brakes on time. And so he just rammed into the back of our car. He just rammed into the back of our car and, you know, but we were able to sort it out. Of course, the person who is at fault would pay, which was the truck. So we had the whole, you know, stuff that got bad. Everything was just switched out for a new one and the person paid and, you know, that was okay. So that's like my only, you know, the negatives of winter and driving in winter. However, if you're well covered up, well suited up, you're wearing the right, um, stuff that you need to wear, you're pretty much going to be fine in winter. It gets really cold and it gets really tough for people who have to go out every day and still, use the public transit system. That's like crazy. But if you're using your own car and you're going out and coming in every day, you barely would feel, the cold. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is job search. I currently just started applying for jobs again. I've been on mat leave, maternity leave. However, my husband has a really like good job, and I think it has served both of us and the entire family well so far. And he got that job, I think, 3 months into Canada. So if you got a job from your home country, like great, wonderful, like good for you. However, for some people, they have to wait for a longer time, 3 months, 4 months, some people even 6 months before they would get like a really good job, like something that they really want in their industry, that they love to do, something that maybe they've been doing back from their home countries. It's going to take you time to get those jobs, because even if you get called for interviews, or when you get called for interviews, doesn't mean you're going to get a job. I think a couple of days ago, a company called me and told me, oh, they decided to go with another person, and I've done 2 interviews with them already. So things like this happen. You just dust yourself up and move on. Okay, so the job search is not easy. You have to have that in mind. However, you could build a really rewarding career here in Canada. So the next thing I want to talk about is food. I know food is really important for people who are not native to this land, because when you go to the stores, you see a lot of processed food, a lot of packaged food, soft chicken, which we're not used to, soft beef. I you know what, when I used that beef to make soup, the beef literally started like melting in the soup after a couple of days. So I knew I had to get like the farm raised halal type of meat. So I actually did. So when it comes to food here in Calgary, and I know that in Ontario, it's a more open and diverse community. So you're going to see a lot of ingredients, African ingredients. However, here in Calgary, we are also diverse and we are open. We have African stores here that sell down to palm oil, salt, pepper. They have everything that you would need to make a proper pot of African soup, And also there are other people who like are sourcers. Like the person I buy meat from, there was a day I went to pick up turkey from her house. She gave me a bag of proper Nigerian side. I used that time to boil meat, and the smell just took me back to Lagos. So shout out to Hanaf. I've mentioned her on this channel before. She's the one that does the meat sharing for me, and I also get like so many other African ingredients from her. So when it comes to food, it's very diverse. If you want to try out other, try out food from other cultures, you are welcome to. The other day I had like actual shawarma from this Israeli restaurant. I think that restaurant is Israeli because their name is Jerusalem Shawarma. And guys, it is totally different from the Nigerian shawarma that we usually have. Yet it was so tasty. It tasted like original. That's the original shawarma. So when it comes to food, you're fine. You're covered. If you have the money to spend on the ingredients that you want, then you're going to be able to eat proper Nigerian food. However, there are loads of substitutes and alternatives you can get from Walmart. Currently, I started buying malt from Walmart. I know that some people have seen like egusi named like melon seeds in Walmart. So you can always get all those things, okay? The next thing I want to talk about is community. Nigerians have a vibrant community here in Calgary, and I've really enjoyed that. So I'm not far from other Nigerians, other Nigerian families. We talk, we have like parties, like real small house parties, and it's really cool. I have a whole video talking about, avoiding Nigerians in Canada in general. I'm going to link that also, so you can go watch that and just see everything I've talked about community. We've been so comfortable here in the past 1 year, and somebody has actually asked me from Nigeria, that, are you even missing Nigeria at all? I said, yeah, like I miss my family, but like the country, like me feeling like, oh, I want to go back to Nigeria. Never. I don't miss Nigeria at all. I'm okay where I am. And that brings me to my next point, which is recreation. Like, I am cool here. I'm fine. I can drive for an hour and I'm in the mountains. I can drive for 3 hours. I'm in Edmonton. I can drive like 1.5 hours. I'm like in somewhere like Red Deer. I can go to the Badlands. Like there are just loads of places and recreational things to do and see here in Calgary and just, around Calgary that, I don't have to bother about being bored. There is no traffic on the road. So I'm not going to be spending like hours on the road trying to get to a place. I can get to like 2, 3 places in a day. Like if I say today when I wake up, I want to leave this house, I don't want to come back in the night, I'm going to I can visit like 10 different places before getting home because I can, because there's no traffic, because there's no checkpoint, there's no police stopping me or anything like that. Like I don't really have issues. I can go wherever I want to go. A lot of times we do our shopping in one day. We go to like 2 different or 3 different stores in one day. And the only thing that stops us is ourselves, like when we are tired. So when it comes to like recreational activities, it's there for you. You can, if you're bored, you can leave your house and you're not going to feel like, you are stressing yourself by leaving your house. So yeah, that's it. What has happened in this house ever since we landed in Canada? If you've been following my YouTube channel, you would know like 90% of everything that's been happening in my house ever since. But I'm just going to recap. So the first thing that happened, was that we had the baby. And soon after having the baby, my husband got a job, his job that's currently still working at right now. Soon after having that job, yeah, we bought our first car in Canada. And currently, we are in our first house in Canada, and we've been able to do all these under a year. And you know what? We couldn't be more grateful and happier. We've taken courses. It's like highly recommended to take some courses when you land, just so that you can have some Canadian education. So you cannot just be deficient on both sides. That Canadian experience is something that you have no control over getting. However, you can get some Canadian education. So that's really something that you should look into if you're moving. So that's my advice. Let me start by talking. Let me start the advice section, right? So that's my advice. Plan to do some courses when you land. Do not follow the hype. I know that there's a lot of hype right now over, tech and getting tech jobs and project management and all that, Scrum Master, BA, blah, blah, blah. You know what? It's good if it's something that you want to do. However, if you're just following the hype, then you're going to make a lot of mistakes. And at the end of the day, you will find out that you spent a lot of time chasing after the hype without getting any reasonable jobs. So don't come into Canada thinking that I'm just going to do tech and I'm going to start making so much money and blah, blah, blah. You have to be ready for that. So that I always advise people, like, if you're going to start, taking courses for things that are other than what you have experience in, always try to continue with your job that you already know, and then take those courses, get some mentorship, get some internship, and get entry level and gather experience before you now pivot to your new job. This advice is not for everybody, so I know some people be like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. Like it's not for everybody, so that's my own advice. What advice do I have? Okay, keep an open mind when you are moving to a new country. Do not get like choked up and like just stringent in your belief. Try to keep an open mind, try to be more open and more open to experiences around you. Go hiking. If you don't know how to swim, learn how to swim. Go swimming, bungee jumping, go-kart riding, different things that you need to do, but you have to open up yourself and your mind to all these new experiences and enjoy the moment. So complaining, I know there are a lot of people that have moved to this Canada. All they do is complain. The weather is this. The sun is hot. The breeze is blowing. This is that. Relax. Enjoy every moment. If you keep complaining about every little thing, you will fail to see the joy in your life. So people have complained so much, they've sucked out the joy in their lives. They don't have no joy. They have no joy. The food is bland. The food is this. Listen, really, money. Oh, money is very important. I know they say money is the root of all evil, but money is the root of survival here in Canada. If you are coming to Canada and you do not have your POF complete, whew, it's not easy if you come that way. You have, listen, save up. If you're coming to Canada, save up. Make sure you have even more than your POF, and that would really help you balance. If you're going to spend a lot of time looking for your perfect job, you are going to need, money. We pay rent every month here, you pay your bills every month here. So it's not easy at all to, just come without anything and then expect that you're going to supernaturally have so much money to, spend. So come with money, make sure you are coming with a lot of money, make sure that you are financially, capable of taking care of yourself for 6 months at least. That's really, really important, and that would really help you when you're making decisions, like financial decisions. The final thing I'm gonna like cover, which is also going to serve as advice, is Canada and your marriage. So for a lot of people, dynamics change in marriage when they relocate to like first world countries like Canada, US, UK, Australia, and stuff like that. This is because for I'll talk from a woman perspective. For a lot of women, they become like financially stable, highly financially stable and independent when they move to Canada. In Nigeria, a lot of us do not make enough to even pay house rent in a decent accommodation. In Lagos, for instance, like if I want to live in Lagos right now, I have to like set aside around like 2 million naira, to even get the house, and subsequently like be paying like, let me say, 1 million or so for a decent place, like a decent place. And so when a lot of women are in abusive relationships in Nigeria, they are not able to leave because they cannot afford to. That's the simple thing. And I'm not talking about physical violence. For physical violence, I'm going to live in a rabbit hole if that's what it takes. But I'm talking about like other forms of violence and, just not being comfortable, differences, and all those things, cheating, all those type of things. However, in Canada, a lot of women have found out that, wow, I'm making money. I can actually go and rent my own place. And I can actually go and stay in my own place and stay away from this man. And that's one of the things that destroy marriages here. That's the end. For the woman, she doesn't want to, live with that anymore, because now she has the capacity to, be independent. And for some men, they do not realize that it's an equal world. Men have the same rights. Women should be able to take decisions of their own without any jealous partner thinking that, she's trying to outshine me or something like that. Also, the dynamics are so tough that women are actually struggling because the men are struggling, women are struggling. Everybody has to like pull their weight to be able to pay bills here. And when the woman is done like struggling outside and she comes home, you expect her to cook, clean, and all those things, and possibly even at home. Like, what are you doing at home since? It doesn't work like that anymore here. So, problems begin to spring up just because one person is being unreasonable, and that leads to the end of the marriage. Like, nobody's gonna tell you, oh, why don't you stay, or something like that. Like, divorce is the culture here. So if you're not okay, they're going to advise you to separate. When you go to the hospital, when I was pregnant, I was frequently in the hospital, right? My husband would be sent out of the room, and I will be asked things like, are you happy? Are you comfortable? Are you safe? Do you feel safe? All these things. So health practitioners are actually interested in these things. And of course, if you say you're not safe or you're not okay, the police is going to be called in, and, that's like, it's just so easy for a marriage to end here. And for me and my husband, the impact has actually been positive on our marriage, I would say. We've had more time, to enjoy our marriage, because, nobody is out in traffic, coming out late at night, and, can barely even say hello, and is going straight to bed, So nobody's leaving by 6 a.m., coming back by 10 a.m., and putting a strain on the relationship in the marriage. So it's been really nice. And my husband is someone that has always been he's a feminist on his own. So equality is big for him, equality is big for me, and we've just been balancing each other out and making sure that our marriage works. So for a healthy marriage, if you have a healthy marriage, I think Canada is going to make it healthier, because you're going to have more time, more money, like more resources to actually enjoy your marriage and your relationship with your spouse. However, if it's unhealthy already, Canada is only going to exacerbate it. So it's going to make it worse. So for us, it's made it better because we have and had in Nigeria and still have a healthy marriage, and so it just made it like way better. I don't see any big differences between myself and my husband. I just feel like we are having much more fun. We are much more relaxed, comfortable. We are where we want to be, and so we're just happy and living out our lives happily. So communication is also very important. Of course, that's like things. That's why I said, like, if you already have a healthy, happy marriage, Canada is just going to make it better. So if you think that coming to Canada is going to help you work on your marriage, I think you're going to find out that it's even going to make it worse. It's going to make it like way worse because you have way more options now. I'm talking about both, even for men too. Like, if you think your marriage has been like really crappy back in Nigeria or back in wherever you are, coming to Canada is going to make it way worse because you're going to have way more options. You can decide to separate. You can decide to like just stay away from whoever it is that is causing you that kind of pain, and nobody's going to like penalize you or talk to you or try to convince you otherwise. So I've come to the end of this video. If you really like this video, please do not forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.